Hello, everybody. Welcome back to the show, or welcome for the first time. Writing with Fire, where I go through and I just share some of my experiences and my knowledge in writing and my experience, and in hopes that that can help you in your writing career and starting to write and you know get to a published level, professional level. And remember, all of us are always writers. I used to be afraid to call myself a writer before I was actually published. But just remember, if you're writing, you're a writer. I'm going to go over today. I found some old writing tips that I put together a long time ago that has really helped me. And there's some kind of general rules in writing. And I know I've touched on some of this before, but I'd like to go over a few more of these details again. So, in general, let's start with this a header. Your manuscript needs a header on each page. It should include the title, the author's name, and the page number. And if you want to put the page at the bottom of the page, that's just fine too. Make sure your entire book flows smoothly. Avoid overuse of flashbacks. I really don't like flashbacks. I avoid them as much as possible. Same thing with dreams. Don't put too many dream sequences in. It can really kind of take people out of the reality or the flow of the way the book is going. A slow moving beginning turns off agents and editors. So write a beginning hook to suck in the reader. Use action rather than narrative. And this is one of the toughest things to write. I used to think it was easy for me, but it really isn't. You really need a compelling beginning. And I think all of us as readers know that too. When we read a book, if it doesn't hook us right from the beginning, it's not going to pull us through the rest of the story. I've given up on books, like a couple pages in. Um, I've also read books where the beginning was so strong, I continued to read through the whole novel, and the rest of the book was disappointing. So, so that's how good a strong hook is. And the best thing to do is to, look at other books, look what captivates you in other stories that works, and try and brainstorm. That'll help open your mind and brainstorm and come up with a really strong hook to begin with. And don't think you have to begin it and get it finished right now in the beginning. Most of the times I have to go back after I'm done writing the whole script. I go back and really work through getting that first hook, that first word, that first sentence, the first paragraph, to get it perfect. Um, so, and then make sure the climax isn't resolved too easily. Be certain to tie up all loose ends that may have drifted throughout your story. Double check for grammatical errors, such as misspelled or repeated words in sentence structure. If you have WordPerfect or your Microsoft Word, there's some really good editing tools in there that can really help you go through your manuscript. Do not use unusual words more than once in your entire script. A reader will remember them and it ends up pulling that reader out of the story if you repeat them. And then also some common manuscript errors. Um, a compliment must be spoken by a human voice. That sounds kind of funny, but a lot of people make mistakes with this. A dog cannot have give a compliment to anyone because it cannot talk, unless you're writing an animated story, of course, where all the animals talk. Um, Dress can compliment shoes, though. Um, Someone or something, a company, for example, can give you a gift as compliments from them. Those are just some common manuscript errors. Um, is it use or used? Oh, these words they always get me, They always trip me up a little bit. We are speaking past tense here. Uh, so here's a clever tip to help you remember which form to use. If it's past tense, use used with a D. So correct. We used to dine at that restaurant, but we don't anymore. Incorrect would be we used to dine at that restaurant, but we don't anymore. And some of these things sound like, oh, that's pretty common sense, but you know what? It's not so common, and I've made those mistakes, and sometimes I question myself. And the one good thing too is when you're writing, write with confidence. Don't question yourself. I have to constantly remind myself to do that. If I'm stopping too much, I'm thinking, "Why am I misspelling that? Am I using that in the correct way? Am I grammatically, writing this sentence correct?" Well, I might not be, but it's gonna break you out of that flow, that creative flow that you're trying to do. Don't worry about making the mistakes at first. You might make a whole lot. You make a ton. That's okay. That's what editing and revising is for. And just give 1 second here.